Hi drummers, hope you're well. So second ever video about playing the drums. This is all going to be about playing a basic drum beat and fill. We're going to use three parts of the kit in our beat. The bass drum or the kick drum, which we play with our pedal. The hi-hat, which we're going to play with our right stick, assuming you're right-handed. And the snare drum, which we're going to play with our left stick. If you're left-handed, you might find it easy to flip your kit the whole way around. And so your hi-hat is on the right instead of the left, and you play it with your left stick. Instead of being like this, you'll be set up like this. You know what I'll do? I'll flip this video around so you can watch it either way. Perfect. So what we can do is count up to 4, play a very, very basic beat. This is based on quarter notes or crotchets. Beat number 1 is going to be the cymbal or the hi-hat and the bass drum together. So bass drum and cymbal. Okay. Beat number 2 is going to be the cymbal and the snare drum together. So both the sticks. And you're done, man. Beat number 3 is the same as beat number 1. It's going to be the bass drum and the cymbal together. And beat number 4 is going to be the snare drum and the cymbal together. So I'll recap, man. Beat number 1, the bass drum and the cymbal with your right stick here at the same time. Beat 2, both your sticks together, the cymbal and the snare drum. Beat number 3, the bass drum and the cymbal again. And beat number 4, the snare drum and the cymbal again. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So your hi-hat cymbal plays every single time. If you don't have a hi-hat, or if you're just on some other type of cymbal, that's fine as well. You can play it on a ride. You've got, assume you're on a hi-hat. The hi-hat plays every single time. 1, 2, 3, 4. The bass drum and the snare drum, they're going to alternate. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I'm sitting here saying this is a really simple beat. I've been playing the drums for like 25 years, so it's all right for me to say that. When you first start, it can be quite tricky, honestly, quite confusing. The best way, I think, in all the years I've spent sort of guiding people through this, the best way is usually just to say the things out loud to yourself and just give your brain and your hands and your feet a chance to see all the little combinations. And then, you know, by the time you've done that a couple of times, by the second and third session, that'll start to come together and really start to feel a lot easier, man. So, bass drum and cymbal, snare drum and cymbal, bass drum and cymbal, snare drum and cymbal, bass drum and cymbal, snare drum and cymbal, bass drum and cymbal, snare drum and cymbal. Just remember to set yourself up like this, man. So your right stick goes over your left stick like that. It's kind of a long story why that's all to do with the history of the drum kit and how that's evolved. We'll get to that a bit later. But that's a great place to start, man. So that's a nice little drum move. That is what the best thing about playing the drums by miles is starting the drums is when you first begin. You know, I love playing guitar, I love playing piano, but the thing with those is you need to do quite a lot of stuff before you can start playing to music, playing a song. You need to know what the chords are, basically, otherwise you're nowhere. With the drums, as soon as you've got that going, you're kind of in business in a way because you're playing an unpitched instrument. So you could just put on so much music and start grooving along. And it might well be that you're not playing the exact groove from that song, the exact part. But so what? You're playing something that grooves along and fits and feels great, and you can have the fun of playing to music like pretty much immediately on the drums. That's something huge, I think. Something really, really lovely about learning the drums. So we're up and running with our groove. If you're a drummer in a band playing a song, maybe 90% of the time or so, depends on the song, you'll be playing a beat or a groove, and then the other sort of 10% of the time, you'll be playing a drum fill. This is like, well, two things I think. One is it adds a bit of variety, a bit of interest, and secondly, it gives a bit of punctuation. So often, like the verse of a song will go to the chorus, and the drummer will play a little drum fill that just punctuates that moment. So a classic, very simple drum fill to start with would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we can play 2 hits on the snare drum, 2 hits on the high tom, 2 hits on the mid tom if you've got one, 2 hits on the floor tom. If you don't have a mid tom, you can always just come back to the snare. That'll be fine, but you've got all the toms, and then back to the groove again. So what we're going to do is play a little groove, just like we've learned. Don't worry if you want to spend a bit of time practicing that up, it's totally cool. And then drum fill to the groove. And drum fill, here we go. So on, it's all making a bit of sense. One other fun thing you can add is, once you've got the hang of all that, once you've got around your kit, on your drum fill, so always think of that as a bit like the full stop at the end of a sentence. The capital letter would be your crash symbol. It's often a great way that a drummer would use to set up the groove and announce the beginning of a new bit of groove. So what we're going to do this time is, after finishing our drum fill down on the floor tom there, instead of hi-hat cymbal and bass drum coming together, just for the very first note, just for the first beat one, your right stick's going to take a little trip up to the crash. No change in the rhythm, no extra beats or anything like that. We're just going to substitute in a crash cymbal for the hi-hat that very first time and get. So, drum fill, hit the crash, and then pick up on the groove as normal. So to recap, the normal version of a groove would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and the version with a crash straight after a drum fill would be 1, 2, 4. So crash cymbal and bass drum together on beat 1, then hi-hat and snare continue as you did before, man. So the only difference is your right stick takes a little journey up to the crash cymbal on beat 1. Play around that a few times, man. Here it comes. And here comes the drum fill. Just making sense. So drum fill, then crash and bass. A couple more times. Comes the drum fill. And drum fill, here we go. Rocky, man. So stick on a tune like AC/DC's Back in Black or Billie Jean, or just something with a really solid beat, and just try a bit of that, man. Once you've got it going a bit, again, just take your time with that groove at the start. Sometimes when drummers first do that, I hear people say funny things like, especially adults, man, they're the worst things, lessons. Things like, they say, oh, I knew I wasn't going to be able to do this. Oh, I knew I wouldn't get the coordination. Everybody will, man. You just got to be kind to yourself. Just go slow. Like, nobody got this straight away. I play the drums for a living. I've been playing the drums for 25 years. But when I started my first lesson with the amazing Roger Odell, I was all over the place, man. He had me doing this, and I was and your brain is screaming at you, going, oh, what? Bass drum and cymbal. But stick with it, man. Say it out loud to yourself. Bass drum and cymbal, snare drum and cymbal, bass drum and cymbal, snare drum and cymbal. Just program that stuff in, man. Just say the thing one after the other. Give your hands and your feet and your brain really a chance to take that information in. Our brains are amazing. You've got this amazing bit of kit in your head, and it will do all this amazing stuff for you. It will organise this information. You sit down the next time, and the next time it'll get easier and easier. Stick with it, man. Get your groove going. Stick a drum fill on the end of it. If you get all that going, go for a crash, and then you're rocky, man. Get some music on, play along. That's awesome. Have a load of fun with it, and I'll see you on the next one for a slightly more tasty groove. Thanks a million. See you soon.